Today on Public Eye News, an outbreak of measles is detected downstate in Montcalm County. But first, NMU continues its celebration of Anderton's Earth Week.
Ashlyn Shadig will have your weather forecast for the next couple days. Later, Luke Niddle will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Dylan Dubé.
And I'm Bianca Kroll, and this is Public Eye News. NMU is currently hosting its 11th annual Anderton's Earth Week. The Earth Week is named after late Professor Dr. John Anderton, who was the former head of the Earth, Environmental, and Geographical Sciences Department. He was a beloved professor to his students and cared for the world around them. He was also passionate about the nature of the UP. In his honor, you can participate in several events, including an athletic shoe drive. During the drive from April 20th to 27th, you can donate any shoes with laces that are gently used. The shoes will be recycled with Sneakers for Good that help to reduce landfill waste and give you those in need. You can donate at the NMU PEEF, Superior Dome, or Queen City Running Co. located on 130th West Baraga Avenue. And NMU education students visited Wisconsin schools to broaden their knowledge. The students traveled there to observe different educational settings as part of their course-related field experience. The group was split into 3 groups that visited a variety of schools, such as Dan's Elementary, Preamble High School, and Stable-Hop School. Professor Alicia Gomez says the purpose of this trip is to teach the students the variety of schools that they would not normally see in the rural UP. The trip is connected to the course titled Teaching and Learning in the Elementary and Secondary School. It's an opportunity to immerse the NMU education students in different school settings and have an understanding of teaching and learning.
36-year-old Aaron Jarrett of Clark County, Washington, was bound over to stand trial in the 50th Circuit Court in Chippewa County. He will stand trial on 4 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 1 count of kidnapping for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman in 2016. He was extradited from Washington in February by the U.S. Marshal Service as part of Operation Survivor Justice. Under Operation Survivor Justice, the U.S. Marshal Service works with the Department of Attorney General and locally elected prosecutors. This joint effort is designed to track down and take into custody criminal defendants across the continental U.S. at a significant cost reduction. And Aspirus Iron River, Aspirus Ironwood, and Aspirus Keweenaw hospitals were recently awarded. They received the prestigious American Diabetes Association Education Recognition Certificate for Quality Diabetes Management Education Programs. The ADA is the nation's leading nonprofit health organization. It supports diabetes research, advocacy, and information. And its ERP certificate assures that educational services meet the national standards for DSMES. Barbara Eichhorst, Vice President of Health Programs, applauds Aspirus Health. In particular, she points out the system's commitment to providing value-based interventions such as DSMES, maximizing corresponding outcomes, and patient experience. And investigators are still trying to piece together the shooting at Florida State University yesterday. 2 people were killed and 6 others were injured. The alleged shooter is now in custody. CBS News' Skylar Henry is at Florida State in Tallahassee with the latest. Take a look.
Video appears to show the shooter walking across Florida State's campus Thursday afternoon, with people sprinting away as he opened fire.
The only thing that came in my head was run.
Holden Mendez said he was walking and listening to music when he heard shots ring out.
I hightailed it out of there, ran through the Union, pointed at multiple people on the way, started yelling, "Call 911, there's an active shooter."
Heavily armed police raced to the campus, encountering victims as they responded to the scene. 2 people, neither of them students, died. 6 others were hospitalized. Students who had taken shelter in lockdown classrooms were later led to safety with their hands up.
FSU police responded immediately, engaged, neutralized, and apprehended the shooter.
Law enforcement identified the suspected shooter as 20-year-old FSU student Phoenix Eichner, the stepson of a Leon County Sheriff's Deputy, Jessica Eichner, who was named Employee of the Month last March. He allegedly used a handgun that was previously her service weapon.
He has been steep in the Leon County Sheriff's Office family, engaged in a number of training programs that we have. So it's not a surprise to us that he had access to weapons.
I was in shock. I was like, I know this kid.
FSU sophomore Laney Montgomery grew up in the same neighborhood as the suspected gunman. They went to middle and high school together. Our cameras were there as police went to his childhood home.
He was very isolated. He was just very odd. I don't believe he had many friends.
In the wake of Thursday's shooting, FSU canceled classes through the end of the week, and its president promised to support students through what he called a deeply emotional time.
We're a strong and united community. We're family. And so we'll take care of all of you. And we'll get through this together.
As of late Thursday evening, police say the 6 victims who are in the hospital were listed in fair condition. So too is Eichner. Now, we spoke with 2 of Eichner's former classmates who say that he used to go by Christian Erickson. As of now, it is unclear as to why he changed his name to Phoenix Eichner. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Tallahassee, Florida.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be back with your weather and statewide news after this break.
On Masterpiece.
Hi, this is my first time using the app.
Are you nervous?
A little.
She threw you out of her flat. As far as signals go, those are pretty clear.
Who's Alice?
I haven't heard from you for 3 years.
She's in love with you. I just want to be right here in this moment, and then the next after that, and then pretty soon you're talking about a whole lifetime of great moments.
Alice and Jack on Masterpiece.
Friday night at 9, WNMU TV.
Welcome back. I'm Ashlyn Shading, and this is your Public Eye Weather News Report. Taking a look on campus, there is not much action going on, but let's see what's going on in the UP. Mostly all cloudy conditions, starting with Ironwood, we're at 43 degrees. Houghton, 43 degrees. Iron Mountain is 59 degrees with slight chance of rain. Menominee is 59 degrees and cloudy. And if we take a look at Escanaba, it's 56 degrees and cloudy. Manistee is 56. Sault Ste. Marie is raining. And here in Marquette, it's 42 degrees and cloudy. The current temperature out is 42, and winds are coming out of the north-northwest at 15 miles per hour. And the barometric pressure is 29.66 inches and falling. Tonight, you can expect a low of 34 degrees and winds to come out of the north-northwest at 15 miles per hour. The moon phase is waning gibbous. Tomorrow, you can expect cloudy conditions to continue with a high of 38 and a low of 29 and winds to come out of the north at 15 miles per hour. Looking ahead, we can see cloudy conditions, but for your Easter, 48 degrees, and for your low for that day, 33. Monday will be 38 degrees and raining, and your low will be 35. And Tuesday will be 47, and we can finally see that sun with a low of 38 degrees. And I'll send it back over to the desk.
Thank you, Ashton, for that weather update. It looks like the clouds are still in the UP, but that is A-OK. Now moving into statewide news. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and Mid-Michigan District Health Department has confirmed a measles outbreak. This has been defined as 3 or more cases of measles in Montcalm County. This is the first confirmed case of measles in Michigan since 2019, and there are currently 7 confirmed cases in total in 2025. The outbreak was initially linked to Ontario, Canada, with the large ongoing outbreak. At this time, there are no new public exposure sites in Michigan. Measles is highly contagious and is a vaccine-preventable disease. Symptoms of measles include high fever, cough, runny nose, red watery eyes, tiny white spots on the inner cheeks, and a rash. If you feel you have these symptoms, call your healthcare provider before you seek treatment. And the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development is reminding owners how to care for their pets this upcoming Easter season. State veterinarian Dr. Nora Wineland said that keeping pets safe during this time is very important. Some tips on how to keep your pets safe are: avoid feeding pets people food, as this can upset their stomach, avoid temptations with Easter grass and holiday decorations, save the dye for eggs, not pets, make sure pets have proper identification in case they get lost, have a quiet place for them if it's too much for them, and save the real bunnies and chicks as chocolates or stuffed animals, as many real animals are returned. These tips help to make sure your pets feel comfortable and have a great holiday season with everyone. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio signaled the U.S. could walk away from trying to broker a Russian-Ukraine peace deal if progress isn't made very soon. Natalie Brand has details from the White House.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. could move on from efforts to reach a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia if progress isn't made in coming days.
We are now reaching a point where we need to decide and determine whether this is even possible or not.
Secretary Rubio made the comments leaving France, where he traveled for negotiations with European counterparts. Senator Chris Van Hollen returns from El Salvador today, where he traveled to try to secure the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Maryland Democrat posted pictures of a meeting with Abrego Garcia, who's being held in a notorious prison in El Salvador after an administrative error led to his deportation there. The White House called the lawmakers' visit, quote, disgusting, alleging Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 gang member. And while the courts have said that the administration must facilitate Abrego Garcia's return, the administration says it's up to El Salvador. The Supreme Court says it will weigh in on President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship.
I am so happy. I think the case has been so misunderstood.
The administration has asked the Supreme Court to limit the ability of lower courts to block the president's executive order.
Whether or not a district court judge can essentially make that decision for the entire country.
Arguments are scheduled for mid-May. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
After a short break, Luke will be back with your sports breakdown. Stay tuned.
Celebrating 50 years of Austin City Limits with Winona.
And it's making me weak. So I'll go home and I'll cry myself to sleep. Oh, give a little love. Go dig it, give a little love.
Tonight at 11 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye Sports. I'm your host, Luke Niddle, and I'll be taking you through our Friday breakdown. Leading off in the greens, the NMU men's golf team is currently competing in the GLIAC Conference Championships at Bedford Valley Golf Course in Battle Creek. The field consists of every GLIAC school minus Michigan Tech this weekend and 10 schools overall. The Wildcats hope to be the fourth different team to win the conference chip in as many years as they stack up against some stiff competition. In the field is nationally ranked number 9 Grand Valley, number 23 Wayne State, and number 48 Ferris State. 5 golfers will be repping the Cats today and tomorrow, with all teams playing a total of 36 holes over the course of both days of competition. The Wildcats currently sit in a distant 9th place as a team, standing at plus 15. And moving over to the field, the Wildcat lacrosse team wiped Saginaw Valley State off the face of the earth last night, dominating 20-0 in their second shutout in program history. Sack keepers were working overtime in this one as 3 different Cats collected hat tricks. The usual suspect, Josie Lukoski, grabbed 1, and Maddie Bass and Taylor Priestley tacked on to the scoring symphony. Priestley also added 5 assists to her career day, finishing with 8 points in total. All in all, 13 different Wildcats struck netting in this one, also marking season team highs in points, goals, assists, shots on goal, and caused turnovers. NMU will now look towards Concordia St. Paul for a grudge match in their final regular season game next week at noon in the Superior Dome. And ending off on the floorboards, we've got Detroit playoff basketball tomorrow night for the first time in 6 years. The Pistons will kick off Game 1 of their first-round matchup against the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Motown has defied all expectations up to this point, tripling their win total from a franchise-worst 14 wins in 2024. Channeling some of that grit and nastiness from the bad boy Pistons, Detroit looks to walk into MSG and kick the Knicks in the teeth to set the tone for the series. As for New York, the Nova Knicks check into this matchup with all the chemistry in the world. Tip-off tomorrow is set for 6 p.m. That's all I have for sports. Back to the news desk.
Well, thank you, Luke, for that sports update. And that's all the time we have at Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll.
I'm Dylan Dubé.
And we'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.